Good evening, guys, and welcome back to the classroom with Architect Mark. Today, we are going to be talking about the rest of the default tray from right after materials where we stopped last time. So, uh, yeah, let's head on over to the classroom because it's very straightforward and I can't wait until we finish this default tray thing. I have prepared something for you guys. Okay, so here we are in the classroom, and here's our 12-minute timer, which will start now. So again, we have Mark here. Let's uh, remove the tray from docking and then put it out here. So we've gone through the info and then the materials. Now we go to scenes. So the scenes are basically snapshots of your environment. Uh, so let's just create something else here so that we we're creating something so that we can see what it looks like from multiple different angles. So we're gonna make snapshots of this particular view. So we'll do one right around here, like how a dog would see the sea, and then create a new scene. So how we do that is we do this, we add scene, and we can name this scene dog view. Now, there are other toggles here. We can choose whether or not to include it in the animation because animation in SketchUp is basically scenes that go into each other. So when we when we created this snapshot, all of these properties are saved with it, like where the camera is right now, if there's anything hidden, if there are any invisible layers, there are planes active for sections, the style, the shadow, and the axis. All right, so let's create another scene around here. So around the height of another human, and then create a scene here, human view. Okay, and then let's create another scene here, and then let's call it, if it's higher, bird view. All right, so right now we have three. Oh, sorry, I did not create a new one, so let's rename this to human view. And then create a new one using this camera as bird view. So other toggles within the scene drop down are removal of scene, updating of scene, moving it up or down within the hierarchy. You can see that when scenes are generated, uh, you have a tab becomes available to you here that allows you to cycle through the scenes without having this dialogue. So you have up and down movement. You can view it simply as a list if you have too many scenes, or thumbnails like that, or small thumbnails or details. And then you can choose whether or not to hide this thing below. And then you have some menu here, which is basically all of these wrapped into a neat little menu. And this is where you do everything else. So we basically created three scenes and we can cycle through them one at a time, and they go to each other using a specific identified time period. Let's see what that is. I believe it's around 10 seconds. So we can see it in the animation settings here in view, animation settings. So right now, the transition between scenes is 2 seconds with a 1 second delay. So let's try and move this up so you can see how dramatic it can be. For example, we identify a scene transition to be 10 seconds. We commit that. When we move to the human view, so it slowly goes into place. It uses up 10 actual seconds to do this. And you actually don't need to wait for it. You can just move while it's moving to position, but you will lose it will stop from trying to move to that position, and you won't get to see the position that you have previously identified. Okay. Next, we have components. Now, what are components? Components are like blocks in CAD. There is a downloadable repository here called the 3D warehouse. So apart from push and pull, this is the next feature that puts SketchUp on the map. You basically can type anything here in this search bar, and it will call the 3D warehouse, and if there's anything that matches your description or keywords, it shows you here. But you can also take it from the website itself. Trimble Warehouse, I think is what it's called right now. So let's see if there are any. Okay, so we have samples here, samples of components. So we have a bench. So let's try and putting the bench in. You click that and then simply place it in the scene. So let's right here, and then let's pull up another one, like bike racks. Okay, so now with each new addition like this, these components, um, the scene is automatically updated with them. It doesn't, all new geometry are already included in your scene. So you don't need to resave it. All right. So that's the scene. Components are like blocks, which you can queue up from the internet. And then styles allow us to uh, create stylistic decisions on how edges are seen, how the background is seen, things like that. So let's go ahead and edit this architectural design style. So this is the current. We can hide the details by clicking that, but we don't really want to. Okay. And then we can, let's see what we can edit. So we have control over the edges if we wanted to have extensions like that. Let's make it more pronounced, like 10 units. And you can see here that's already updated. And in our drawing, there's already uh, protrusions from the end of the lines. That's 10 units. So to make it more visual, let's make 50. So as you can see, a lot of the lines are now pushing out of their endpoints. If you also identify endpoints, you will be able to see that the edges of the lines now have a point on them. You can choose it to be jittery, the line display, so it looks more hand-drawn. then, yeah, that's about it for the uh, edge controls. Now we also have face controls. This is the default. Right now we're using a shaded texture style, so we can choose a new one from here. Like for example, we can choose hidden line, and then it shows the scene where we only use the solids and no longer the materials on them. You can choose the solid color, then the material, and then a shaded view right here. And of course, a wireframe view. Now, why would you want to go to wireframe? Sometimes, if the scene gets too heavy and the computer seems to be struggling to uh, catch up to your commands, you can turn this on and then it will allow the CPU to breathe, because you'd be then looking at just lines from, or rather, pure mathematics. There's no photo editing happening right here, or operations of that nature. And there's also an X-ray mode when you're in one of these solid states, right? You can see through drawings. Yep, that's about it. Oh no, we can also change the background if you want the ground present or no, the sky present or no, and then you might want the background on white, just like this eventually. This prepares the drawing for layout, which is a really nice uh, program as well, although it's a little bit heavy. We have watermark settings if you want to make them. That's our marker. And we have uh, modeling settings here. So when you select something, the color is blue. When the selection is locked, the color is red. Then guides are created with black. Active sections are marked orange. Inactive ones are like gray. And then, yeah, these are all mostly things that you already can identify, which is really good. All right. So I suppose we'll stop right here now. So we went through scenes, components, and styles. So there's just uh, two more basically, because the instructor is just like Clippy from Microsoft Office, and we don't really need it. So that's about it for this day's 12-minute classroom. I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.